Greetings, Brutal Planet. We're live today with guest Brendan Shane from the band The Nocturnal Affair. Great to meet you, Brendan. How you doing, man?
How you doing? Thanks for
Really good,
having me.
thanks. Yeah, man. I kind of went down the rabbit hole. I always do I'm a guy who does my homework, and so I listened to a lot of your stuff, like what I could find on YouTube and Spotify, and I was genuinely impressed, man. You guys have been at it for a while too.
Yeah, a little bit. Been having some fun for a while, and I appreciate you going through the discography, man.
Yeah, man. So question, usually what I like to ask people, just because for some people this might be their first time, kind of hearing about you guys. Tell me your origin story. Like what brought you into the music world? How did you get this all started? How did you start doing the Nocturnal Affair?
This band kind of started as a joke. It was based out of a photo very close friends of mine took while camping, and the image itself seemed very emotional. It looked like it would have been a part of some type of like goth rock record from the 80s or 90s. It was these three friends of mine walking towards a body of water, all lined up perfectly with the same legs, taking a step like they planned it. Apparently they didn't plan it. I don't believe them. But I was like, oh wow. So if you guys had a band, and I made a mock album cover, I'll have to see if I can find it still. And I called the band The Feels, like, oh, got me right in the feels. And since they were walking towards water, I named the record Ripples. And I thought it was just the cheesiest, stupidest thing. So I sent it in the group chat. The group chat went off, and they're like, all right, so how would this band sound? Like, you got to write us a song real quick. So like in an hour and a half, I took like simplistic chords, like Nirvana style, kind of grungy, whatever. Mm-hmm. And the vocals I based off of Peter Steele, the 69 Eyes, Sisters of Mercy, and the Dracula character from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. He's like, just when things were beginning to get better. And I put a song together, and that was actually our song, Just Run. And I wrote it, I made it sound like it was about some kind of terrible, like, love experience in a relationship. But if you, like, really listen to the lyrics, it's about a cat. It's about a cat that always gets out when you open the door. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah. So I sent it, and they actually like loved it. They're like, dude, like by the end of the week, they're like, I can't stop listening to this fucking joke band. I know Comp 92.3, which is one of the rock stations out here. They do like a local show every Sunday. You should send the track in. And I mean, this is like 2015 and 2016, and no, it was 2015. And wow, 10 years ago. And so I sent it in, and I was a big fan of Ghosts as they were coming up, and they weren't really known that much yet. They were still very anonymous, and I liked the anonymous thing. So I was like, we are anonymous goth rock band The Feels out of Las Vegas. Here's our latest single, You're Welcome. Like, just total pompous, like, fake it till you make it ideals. And they played it every Sunday. They played it every freaking Sunday. And finally, at the beginning of 2016, the House of Blues in Las Vegas, their talent buyer, reached out to the Feels Facebook page and said, look, nobody knows who the fuck you guys are, but I've got this Amazon corporate event completely sold out. Come to the House of Blues, and we need you guys to open up for this Duran Duran tribute act. And I was like, holy shit, bro, it's me from, the metal band I was in at the time. And he was like, oh, wow, I did not see this coming. And I was like, yeah, don't tell anyone it's not a real band. I don't have a real band around me. I write and I record everything. And he goes, cool. So you're going to put a band together and play this show, or I'm going to tell the radio station and everybody else that it's you. And I was like, all right, fine. So I got the metal band that I was in at the time to kind of dress up. We put on like half masks and wigs and hoods. And we played our first show at the House of Blues in front of like 2,000 people. And I was like, this is just hilarious. Like, let's see how far down the rabbit hole goes. But then we get off stage and we got bum rushed. Like, people practically like attacked us, like, where's your merch, where's your CDs, where's your shirts, we love you. And I was like, oh shit, like maybe I've got something here. Metal band was a little jealous. We kept doing our own thing, and so I would start rehearsing with a full band away from them in our practice spot at night, and they didn't know about it. And one night, the guitar player and bass player from the other band wanted to smoke some weed at the studio, and they come in and they catch me rehearsing with the Feels. And it was like being caught cheating. They were just like,
"Oh my god!
Like, what are you doing with them? Why don't you want to play with us? What, are they better than us? Do you like them better? Do you like playing with them better? Do you miss playing with us?" And I was like, yo, like it's not what you think.
Wow.
I'm having fun. It's fine. And so eventually the time came. We started getting management. And we had to change the name because there's like 50 the feels out there. And I was like,
Yeah.
maybe I don't have to joke about everything. Although I think it's important to never take yourself too seriously. Otherwise,
Sure.
you're not gonna have a good time. And so I figured, okay, well, they caught me practically cheating on them with another band. I'm gonna call this the Nocturnal Affair,
Oh,
and
that's
that's how
great.
it's born. Yeah.
That's great because that story actually, first of all, great
Oh
story. Great.
no, the feed cut out. I don't know if it's
Oh, no, I mean, it might just be on your machine. I mean, I'm running the
I think
stream,
I lost
so
you, buddy.
shit. Hold on a second.
Having
Are you there now?
you
Maybe
there?
your connection's bad. I think the stream itself is. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got full bars over here. I'm good.
Here,
Let me see. Maybe if I connect to my
can
computer.
you
I
hear
don't
me
know if
now?
that's yeah, because you're are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. I got you. Yeah, it was just a spinny little
Can you hear me
thing
now?
for a minute. Yeah, I got you. Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think that it might be your connection somehow because the stream itself seems like it's okay because I have like a little, I'm running it from my machine and I plug directly into like the router. But yeah, anyway,
Yeah.
no, that if everything's solved on the technical side, that story also answered both of my questions, which are usually origin story and how'd you come up with the name. So listening to a lot of your stuff, the first thing I really popped on was the Depeche Mode cover that I found that you guys had done of It's No Good. And then I came across your most recent single, which was the cover of Don't Hurt Me or What Is Love.
Yeah.
And I like when I first saw that, I went like, oh no, here we go. And then I listened to it and I was actually legitimately impressed with it. I was like, wow, they made this song fucking sound cool.
This is a lot
And
of fun.
so yeah, props to you on that. I was like, it sounds great as a guitar song. I was actually very impressed with the arrangement and the way you guys put it all together. And your voice is great too, by the way. And I'm not just saying that to like blow smoke up your ass. Like I legitimately, like you legitimately have like a really powerful voice. So
Thank you. Thank you so much.
yeah, man. So tell me about what you're up to right now. Are you guys, I was told you're working on, you're going to be touring in Europe. And obviously you have the new single out, but is there anything else on the burner for you guys?
Yeah. So we just dropped the single. We leave for the UK in less than 2 weeks. We're going to be out there for a week with Wednesday 13 and a few other bands. And then we're going to switch over to mainland Europe for the first time with Drowning Pool as direct
Oh,
support.
awesome. CJ from Drowning Pool was like one of my favorite people to interview. Like, what a cool motherfucker that guy is.
I can't wait to meet CJ. Every time I bring up Drowning Pool, every one of my friends in the industry is like, "Oh my God, CJ, he's like the coolest. He's great. He's my bro." I'm like, dude, I can't wait to meet him.
Dude is an electrician, and it was interesting because he's a guitar player / electrician. So I mean, very down to earth guy. Obviously, he's like, man, I work as like during COVID, I just went back to work as an electrician.
Yeah.
Like I could do contract work and stuff, but also having that knowledge, he's the kind of guy who can like rewire his own guitars and amps and stuff like that, and is a good guy to have around when there's issues with the sound equipment or that kind of stuff. So
Hell yeah, let's get to know.
yeah.
Especially our first time in the UK, we were told to bring a specific type of converter for our amps, and our guitar player grabbed one. I think that got damaged on the trip over, and at the first show we played, the very first show we played, plugged his amp in, and smoke, sparks. It was
Oh
like it was
shit.
a nightmare. Yeah. Thankfully, unplugged it fast enough before anything terrible happened. But yeah.
So are you originally from Vegas?
No, I was actually born in Boston.
Oh wow. Yeah, I definitely got a little bit of that East Coast vibe from you when we first jumped on.
Yeah, man. I grew up mostly in Vegas though, so I could pronounce my R's. Some wicked smart. But spent a lot of summers and winters back east, a lot of holidays, and it's nice. It's nice to have a place to go back to, but thankfully I don't have to shovel snow every winter.
Yeah, man. I like the West, the Southwest specifically for that. I grew up in Utah. So Utah has like the four distinct seasons and it gets very, very cold and snowy in the winter.
Yeah.
So
Utah also has soda pop bars, which is I'd never
oh
seen
man.
before.
That's thanks to the Mormons. It's funny, I just watched this YouTube piece on that and it blew me away because I moved to LA in 99. And my mother still lives up there, but I haven't been back there in a while. But it was crazy because as a kid, I remember like BYU Stadium, the Brigham Young University Stadium, which is like the big Mormon like college there. They didn't serve like Coca-Cola or Pepsi because of caffeine, because it was like against the Mormon like word of wisdom thing. So they only had like root beer and Sprite like at BYU games. And so
Wow.
to see that like soda thing where it's like now there's like drive through, people are drinking like these buckets of soda. It's like, wow, that's like in Utah, it's like a huge industry.
Buckets of soda. Oh my god.
Yeah, and it's funny growing up, my dad, when I was a kid, we did that a lot. Like we had a drive-through gas station by our place, and my dad would go every day in the morning and just get like a 44-ounce fucking guzzler of Mountain Dew or Dr. Pepper or whatever. You know, it's just I'm just like, man,
Yep.
we're lucky we're not all diabetic.
I was just talking to a friend of mine the other day. So I don't know what happened, but Mountain Dew, maybe this is making me sound older than I am, but Mountain Dew just used to hit differently, didn't it? There was something about it. It used to be perfect and it just doesn't hit the way it used to anymore, huh?
It's almost like the difference between like the Mexican Coca-Cola and I'm sure that's what it is. Like it seems like
Oh, yeah.
everything in America, like they nickel and dime for the cheapness. So they're like, oh, if we just change to this chemical, it tastes similar enough. And it's like, you know what I
Yep.
mean? So
Yep.
I wouldn't doubt it at all.
It's the same thing with fast food too. Fast food just doesn't hit like it did when I was a kid, and I know it's not because of age either. Because when we went over to the UK, they've got very strict food laws over there,
Yep.
and I mean you can get a Big Mac meal, I think large, and it's like 700 calories for the whole fucking thing. So it's something crazy, ridiculously different
Yeah.
than what it would be in America. And so I remember my first experience at McDonald's in the UK, and I was like, oh my god, this is what McDonald's tasted like when I was a kid. This is amazing, and they had snack wraps and everything too. And now I believe they're finally bringing it back. But I don't have fast food in America, so
I,
I
I don't
mean,
want to go. Yeah.
every so often I'll have Taco Bell.
I don't want to go too political, but it's to me, it's like, and it's not really even political. It's just like the reality of the situation. But in like, it's the cheap, like, you know, the seed oils, I think like vegetable oils and stuff. Like it used to be beef tallow that they cooked fries in, which is actually pretty good for you. Like research shows
Really?
versus vegetable oil, which is like, man, I watched this whole thing about vegetable oil. It was originally made to like lubricate machinery. It was not made to be consumed by
I was
humans.
like, what if I eat it right now?
Yeah,
What
they're like,
happens?
well, it is edible and it's cheap to make, so now it's in all of our food. Yeah.
Oh
And in
man.
Europe, they're like even I was reading a thing recently because they're trying to ban these dyes. Like all the poisonous dyes that they use here have chemicals in them, and they're not allowed in Europe. So they don't like. So to your point, again, it's like they have stricter laws against. Where here they're like, oh, we can make a couple extra bucks if we like slowly poison people. It's good.
Like medical laws.
Yeah.
I remember talking to somebody about having to get like a CAT scan just to get things checked out a while ago, and everything was fine. But I remember bringing it up to somebody in the UK because they're talking about stomach issues, and they're like, a CAT scan? Like you just went and got a CAT scan? Like we have to jump through hoops to get that. And I'm like, why? They're like, because of the radiation. It's bad for you. It's not good. And I was like, that's not what they tell you in America. They're like, oh, your insurance will pay for it. Here's the iodine solution. We're going to inject that in.
Yeah.
It's going to
Fuck,
feel real
man.
weird. We'll just scan you right up, buddy. And it's like, there's just things that we don't take into consideration out here at all. Where out there, it's like almost banned. Like you have to try
Yeah.
really hard to get a CAT scan out there.
my cousin's husband is German, and it's funny, like just listening to him, because first of all, he always laughs at the pharmaceutical commercials here. He's like, "That's fucking crazy that they can like sell you drugs on TV. They're not allowed
Yeah,
to do
they're like,
that."
ask your doctor, ask your doctor,
Yeah,
ask your doctor, because
that's
eventually the doctor's gonna go, how much is this company gonna pay me for prescribing it to you?
yep.
All right, we're good.
I love the side effects lists on those too. It's like thoughts of there was this comedian who had a whole joke about how like the like antidepressant pill has a side effect that's thoughts of suicide. And he's like his joke was like, either way it solves the problem, right?
I'm just gonna say, like, yeah, is it a solution pill? Is it like a, oh, it's dark.
Well,
Oh my God, that's dark.
but yeah, I
Um,
think that whole mentality is applied to everything. And I'm not like anti-capitalist or like far left or whatever, but it's like you can't help but see it. It's like there's a our society has been so driven by like profit for so long. It's like it's almost to the point where it's like sloppy. It's like, yo, we don't have to go that far, guys.
I mean, we're in a country where, and you know, I don't know what funeral practices are anywhere else in the world, but when people at a funeral parlor are selling you, uh, like just funerals, like somebody selling you a car, you know what I mean? Like the way they
Yeah.
rack up pricing and get the dude, like it's insane. It's how can you expect any less from anything else?
Yeah, that's great. It's just like certain things probably shouldn't have that much of a profit motive, right? It's like I'm all for like profit and like a competitive economy and like there's definitely something to it. Like our way of life has invented a lot of great shit over the last 100 years or so because of the profit motive. So it's not like all bad, but it's also like there's a point where you're like, okay, wait a minute, like
Yep.
you don't have to go that far down the road.
It's getting crazy. It's the same thing with streaming. Streaming is just as bad, if not worse, as cable used to be.
Yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
insane.
I saw someone joking about that. They're like, "Hey, what if we just like took all these streaming services and bundled them into one package?" Kind of like what cable was.
Like as if we had a box office in our home.
Yeah.
We'll call it home box office.
I do like the I do like the landscape. I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword, but it's also like nowadays it's so much easier for bands like your story is crazy. Like you made these songs and just came out of nowhere almost as a joke, like pretty much as a joke, but you were able to you had the resources and the ability to do all that without like any kind of label pushing you or anything like that. And I think that's a more common story probably now than it used to be because of the technology and
Yeah. Yeah, well, I was very lucky when this band started because with my other band, I had already had the pleasure of working with my producer. So, and that's exactly what I did. I called him up, and to be honest, and I don't think I've mentioned it that much yet because I don't know how much he wants me to really talk about it. But so I guess I probably should though. So I work a lot with John Moyer from Disturbed. He
Mhm.
produces a lot of our music, and he's kind of single-handedly the the guy that really brought the current team that we have together. He's very responsible for that. Um, he heard so obviously we started in about 2015, 2016. Before that, I was in a metal band that he had produced, and he was kind of teaching us his like tips and tricks to doing that, and the way that he works his way around a studio and can really just bring the best out of any band he works with is so impressive. And I really wish the people he works with recognize that more. And this is not a knock to them. It's just people should know that he's a damn good producer, and he's even really great at songwriting too. Um, so I started working on the Nocturnal Affair. And at the time, he was kind of like, "Oh, that's a nice side project you got going on there, Brendan. It's very cute, very like typo negative, whatever. Cool, man. Keep it up." And then a few years later, like right before COVID hit, it was like it was my birthday. I was wasted, and he calls me, "Hey, man, happy birthday. What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm drinking, whatever, da 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 da, working on some music." And he's like, "Send me some tracks." And I sent him the newer version of Nocturnal Affair that I was like, "All right, like I'm really gonna put some effort into this. I'm gonna, write music that I enjoy playing live, not just this isn't a joke anymore, man. I'm really like
Mhm.
this." And and that's what eventually became Metamorphosis. He heard it and he was like, okay, we need to, it's time to like put your big boy pants on. Like, this is it. This is, you found your sound, you found your direction, and full force ahead. And he's just been there and helping me ever since. Um, he helped bring some other people into the picture that have really changed my life for the better, who have brought other people like my awesome manager and the people we've toured with. And yeah, rest is history.
That's very cool, man. So did he just take an interest in you as like he was working with your other band? Like, how do you make that connection? I mean, that's a very, very cool guy to have on your side, in
He
your corner.
he he actually grew up with, so my drummer for my old metal band. It's a very good friend of mine, Steven, who is now in a great punk rock band called At Odds. And they
Okay.
just got signed to a subsidiary of Virgin. I'm super happy for him. His uncle, it's so funny. It's always like my friends, uncles, brothers, cousins, dogs, watcher,
Yeah.
so it's his uncle grew up with John. Uh, I believe either in high school or college or both. They were
Okay.
childhood friends. And when me and Steven put this metal band together, before Nocturnal, Steven's uncle was like, "Hey, John, I know you're coming to town with Disturbed. Why don't you step in and check out my nephew's band?" And it was actually two bands before that. I was like 18 years old. And John walked in and he was like, "Yeah, you guys got some stuff going. You haven't found your sound yet, but this is nice." A few years go by. We get older. We get better at songwriting. And eventually he was like, "Okay, let's hone this in." So he came to town and he took us to Zoe Thrall's studio when she had it inside the Palms, which they're responsible for like a lot of Elton John stuff, John Legend, the Killers like major debut album came out of there. I
Oh,
believe
wow.
Maroon 5, Journey recorded out of there. While we were recording there, Boys to Men was tracking in the other room.
Damn.
And I was like, I didn't even realize it. I think I was like 24 at the time. And I've been listening to Boys to Men since I was a kid. Because when
Mhm.
you're a kid, what do? You listen to pop. Pop's easy. It's everywhere. It's in kids' movies. So I was a kid and I really liked like Backstreet Boys, In Sync. I mean, I was like what, eight
Yeah.
years old, 5 years old. I was also listening to Metallica thanks to my sister,
Sure,
but
sure.
kids listen to kids stuff, and in the '90s, Backstreet Boys and In Sync, they were king for the
Great
children's
songs are great
music.
songs, man. I listen to
So
everything myself.
exactly, I mean, the producers they worked with actually like amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
So
totally. Max
I
Martin came out
remember
of that world.
my I think my it was either my sister or somebody else was listening to Boys to Men. And they were like, "This is really where it started," because boys, everything came from Boys to Men. They were the first of
A
that.
boy band.
Yeah, because they were
Th
just trying to be the Temptations with
Yeah.
with hip hop beats and various other, and they're fucking amazing. And so I'd listened to them since I was a kid, but I'd never seen a concert. I never saw them live. You know what I mean? I didn't know what they looked like. So I'm sitting there in the flash forward with my metal band at the studio inside the Palms, working with Moyer, and the doorbell rings, and the engineer goes, "Oh, can you get that? Our house guy's not here. This it's somebody for another session." So I opened the. He's like, "Just ask who they're with. It should be Boys to Men." I went, "Oh, cool." I opened the door. I'm like, "Hey, man, who are you with?" And he goes, "I'm here for the Boys to Men session." I said, "Oh, cool. What do you do for the band?" He goes, "I'm the singer." And I went, "Yeah, got it. Cool, man. Come on in." And I was just like, "Oh my god."
That's
I
amazing.
finally meet the
Yep.
singer for the band I listened to since I was a kid. I didn't even know it was him.
One of their songs was like a theme for one of my high school proms. I think it was End of the Road.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Hell, I
so
mean,
it's like I
it's
totally
always
know.
that, right? It's always end of the road, or it's God, what's the other one?
They had one other big song. It's escaping me
For
right
us,
now.
it was like that. It was end of the road. It was "Time of Our Lives"
Yeah.
by Green Day. Hope you
Yep.
have the time of your life. Do
There's
do do do
that
do do. You're
Imagine
like
Dragons
18,
song.
going, "This is the saddest moment ever."
Yeah, there's an I think it's an Imagine Dragons song too. It's like I'm like this is the perfect song for like a year-end slideshow or something like that.
Yeah. Well, these days it might be radioactive if it's Imagine Dragons, depending on where the world goes. But
Yeah, no kidding. So
but
how did you get into music? Like what are some of your I like to ask people this musicians cuz usually they're way into music. Like what are some of the things that or the bands or some of the artists that really inspired you to be like I want to do that?
when I was a kid, um, obviously you go everywhere with your parents, but until I was a preteen, I lived with my mother she was a single mother, and she took me everywhere, and we'd always be driving around in her old Hyundai, and we had a tape deck, and Bruce Springsteen's "Born in the USA" got stuck in the tape deck. So it was either, do you want to listen to the radio, or do you want to listen to Bruce? We played the shit out of that tape. So that's kind of where it started. My sister was married to a guy who was a part of an MC, and she'd take me out to pig roasts in Indian Springs, and I mean I was like 10 years old, watching wet t-shirt contests for the first time and rock bands, and it was wild, man. And believe it or not, there's an artist out here named Frankie Perez who my sister kind of married into the family that grew up with him. So every time he played when I was a kid, my sister would go support, and she'd bring me to the all ages shows. And so I was like single digits, you know, early, very, very young, watching Frankie sing or play drums with various other people. And so that I owe a lot of my inspiration to that. My first concert, my mother took me when I was 8 or 9 to Little Richard.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Legendary.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I think people can relate to that. Like I definitely remember my mom had a station wagon, like riding around listening to like Tears for Fears or early Bon Jovi or a lot of that shit that like that early rock stuff, which it's crazy. I've been on a kick lately where I've been listening to a lot, because I grew up listening to hair metal, you know, and a lot of that shit, but also, you know, just pop in general. But like going back to like so much of that stuff is so good, man. Like everything from like Led Zeppelin to Motley Crue and Rat to fucking Def Leppard and Cinderella and
Yep. Yeah, man. And for a long time when I was a kid, so she single mother, she had to work all the time. So I would be home alone a lot. And we didn't have like your standard cable. We had just the normal TV channels without the cable, where you had to move the bunny ears and try to figure it out. So Vegas had this on just your standard whatever. What is it called? It's not cable. It's
public access.
Public access. Thank you. It's been a long time. So we had this channel on public access called The Box.
I remember The Box, man.
That's why it was that 1-800 number you call.
Yeah.
And that's it. And I mean, dude, I had to be 8 years old. I remember people were calling and requesting Hit Me Baby One More Time all the time. But there was always a moment in the middle of the day where they were certain everybody was at work probably. And that's when they would play like rock and various other things. And that's when, you know, you had just like, since I can remember, Drive from Incubus, you know, the whole drawing himself while he's singing, and the music video with Korn where the guy's just like popping all the zits on his face, and the Gorillas started coming up as well. Just very, that's why I heard a lot of like rock and alternative music, was just sitting in front of the TV, just watching the bot, waiting for my mom to come home from work, and just keeping myself busy with music.
My first experience hearing the Deftones was that song 7 Words. They had a video that I saw on the box.
Oh, dude, 7 Words is so underrated.
Yeah, and that era too. It's crazy you bring that up, because I never really thought about this, but that was the era when MTV kind of quit showing videos almost altogether, and it was just all reality TV. Yep. So it was like that was where you went, either that or like Much Music, like Canadian, if you wanted to watch music videos.
Yeah. I remember do you remember Fuse when that started?
That was
like Mistress Julia and like all the.
So Fuse was like originally Much Music. Like Fuse is, I think, is what they changed. Correct me if I'm wrong out there, people, but I'm pretty sure that's what Much Music was, the original. Like Fuse was Much Music before it became Fuse, basically. Yep.
I just remember getting home from school, running and throwing on Fuse to see like what was up and coming, what was happening. And it was like, I think at the time, The Clincher by Chevelle was a big hit.
Oh, wow.
So it was like those videos. There was a lot of like, it was just this had to be 2004, 2005. So this was like right before Bad Country came out. So it was like constant Avenged Sevenfold commercials and like, oh man.
That story too. I saw them talking about how it was the guys from Good Charlotte that got them onto TRL.
Really?
With that song, Bad Country. Yeah, they said basically Joel and I forget their names, the boys from Good Charlotte, Madden, Joel and Benji Madden, like recommended their song when they were on TRL, and then the audience liked it, and it just started like trending, and pretty soon it was like it blew up. Because I was a late bloomer on Avenged Sevenfold. I didn't
Same.
really get
That,
into
that's
them.
that's when I discovered them.
Yeah,
I was watching literally that clip of them playing live and him doing his with his hand to the side of "Can't you help me as I'm stunned?"
yeah.
And I was just like, "What is this?" And I was telling my parents for my birthday, my 15th birthday, I was like, "Avenged Sevenfold record, City of Evil, City of Evil," and I don't think it had come out yet. And so somebody went to the store to get me the record, and they brought back "Waking the Fallen" because it looked cool. It was all black, and I was like, "This ain't City of Evil, but I'll listen to it." And like front to back, Waking the Fallen like changed my life. I started playing guitar. I was like, dude, it was like
They're
amazing.
so
All
underrated,
because
man.
of Fuse. I saw that commercial on Fuse, and you know what I mean? Like, it's
They're
crazy.
so killer. They're so killer. I love his voice too. Like I didn't like his voice at first until I realized what he was doing. He's doing a throwback to like Axl Rose and like that era of like harsh metal that's not
Yeah.
like scream metal like Phil.
It was so good, and I remember I remember my parents saying that. My brother and sister going, he's just imitating Guns N' Roses, and I was like, no, he's not. This is Avenged Sevenfold. This is who they are.
He's
And you know,
not though. It's
Sinister Gates comes out and he's playing with the hat, just like Slash, and I was like, nah, man, that's Sinister style. They're like, that's literally he's Slash with extra
Guns N'
steps.
Roses.
And I was like, what?
The influence is there, but they're not, it's not like that band Greta Van Fleet. I think they're young, so their early stuff sounds a lot like Zeppelin, and it's like way more than I think, Avenged Sevenfold sounded like Guns N' Roses. They definitely were influenced by them, but they took it in. They had the emo kind of like flair a little bit too. Like,
Yeah. Every time I hear Greta Van Fleet, all I can think about is the clip of Mike Patton hearing Wolf Mother for the first time at a festival. That's all I can think of. I like Greta Van Fleet,
yeah,
but it's just I just think about Mike Patton every single time.
Patton is my idol. So like that's like I love it kind of we were talking about Fred Durst and like new metal recently, and he very famously was like, oh, I don't like new metal or whatever, but it's like Faith No More was immensely influential over everyone in that world, like Korn and Mr.
Dude,
Bungle
yeah.
too.
Well, I mean, Mike Patton kind of got the shit end of the stick when they started because Anthony Kiedis tried to sue him so many times.
I saw that. Yeah, I was just watching. That's so crazy. Well, to be fair to Kiedis, it did like that one video, Epic. He did look like Patton was kind of biting his style because
I
he's
think
the
it's
long
what
haired
was
guy.
it? Was it Falling to Pieces where he's
Yeah,
jumping
Falling to
around
Pieces
with the
too.
cape and he's like
Yeah,
doing
but
his
then you
thing?
listen
Like,
to the totally. But if you listen to Faith No More's music versus the Chili's, like it's a world of difference, Like
it's so different, man. It's so
yeah.
different. And dude, Patton was classically trained. Like,
Oh man,
and the
he was
dude
my
was
hero.
sober while he was doing all of this.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a knock really to anybody, but it's just like they were in, and their guitar player, like combining that metal with the funky bass, the keys, dude, like
Yeah.
Faith No More was really something else. And the way they evolved over time. Don't get me started. I love Faith No More.
Yeah, that's one of my
I
favorite
try
bands.
not to talk about Faith No More because I'll go down a rabbit hole. But and then
Well,
Mr. Bungle and Phantomos and fucking Mondo King,
yeah.
all that
Oh,
shit,
man.
bro.
I
Peeping
just
Tom.
watched this thing about Jim Martin, and like I did not know all this stuff because they didn't like there was interviews like when they were promoting the King for a Day album with Patton and the keyboard player talking about how Jim kind of like grew up, and it's almost like you could tell because like they're like Jim hated disco. He was like we fuck disco, and we were like no, we actually kind of like disco, like, and so we did that song Evidence on the because and as much as I love Angel Dust is such a fucking one of my favorite albums, but also you can kind of hear the tension between Jim and them probably on that one because there's like songs that are just piano and there's a lot of fucking but anyway, yeah, that band is fucking killer. And Patton,
it's always funny until someone gets hurt.
Yeah, Evidence.
But
no, that's Ricochet.
Ricochet, that's it.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. I saw a clip of Jacoby from Papa Roach. I think he was doing King for a Day live, and Mike was side stage watching him.
I just watched an interview that Ben Weinman of the Dillinger Escape Plan did with Patton, and he was like, it was really good because he said, you know, the first tours that we did with Bungle, like he's like, I learned a lot from you. Like I watched you guys carrying your own instruments out and setting up your own gear and shit. And I went like, oh wow, these guys to me are like rock stars. And they're like, and Patton was just like, yeah, we always kind of figured like if you want something done right, like you got to do it yourself. Type things.
Yep.
Really good. That band. Oh my God, Bungle. Just we should shut up about Patton because we'll spend like 2 hours
Dude,
just talking.
that whole California record, man, like that's a lot of there's a couple songs on Metamorphosis that are very Patton influence, but yeah, man.
Yeah, well, it's obvious with your vocal chops that you're serious about your craft. So I definitely appreciate that, man.
Thank you.
I mean, that's pretty much all I got. We've been on for like a half hour. Is there anything else that I don't know if you have other interviews to go to, or if there's anything else you want to plug, or anything else you want to
I
tell
will say,
people?
when we get back from our tour, we're doing something special in Las Vegas at the end of August. So anybody near Vegas who wants to come to Vegas, keep an eye out for it. It's going to be something we haven't really done before, and it's going to be a blast. Hoping that it fills the void that Counts Vamped left when they left us a few weeks ago. R.I.P. Counts Vamped.
Okay.
It's one of the best venues in America, to be honest, and unfortunately they closed.
Man, I was not so I grew up in Utah and I spent a lot of time in LA. I just actually moved out to Albuquerque about a year ago. But I was never the hugest fan of Vegas until one time I went there and I went off the strip to like Fremont Street. And I had like the time of my fucking life. I ran into OJ Simpson. And yeah,
the juice.
Yeah, I think Vegas, especially now, it's changed a lot. Like there's been so much development. You guys got a football team now. You got the Raiders.
Yeah, everything's a lot more expensive. That's for sure.
I mean, that's everywhere, I feel like.
Yeah. We're about to get a baseball team, so hopefully I finally get to see the Red Sox play in Vegas. That'd be fun.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember that. Now Oakland, the A's are coming there too, huh?
Yep. Last time I got to see the Red Sox, I went to see them, I think, about 10 years ago. They played the Angels. So we went to that game, and they got their asses handed to them. And I was like, well, at least I got some beer. This is great.
Fun side note. So I used to play in this band like a long time ago called Jagged Thought Process, and the guys were from Maine. The other guys, but they were huge Red Sox fans. And this is probably showing my age, but at the time they hadn't yet broken the curse. And my homie, the drummer, moved to Boston, and like the next year, the Sox fucking won the series for the first time. And I was just like so happy for him. I was like, fuck yeah.
04.
Yeah.
Yep. Shit was crazy. That was like just on the cusp of I started high school, wanted to play baseball, discovered guitar, became a musician instead.
Yeah. Oh man, that's 100% my story too, man. I played football in high school. I have a fucking state championship ring.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't talk about that much, but it's not like, I wasn't ever going to be like a professional football player. So it was like one of those things where music is so much more interesting. There's so many more places you can go with it,
Yeah.
And you got dudes like Keith Richards and fucking Mick Jagger. And, I mean, I don't know if I'm sure you watched the Ozzy Sabbath thing last weekend.
Yes, I saw some clips, man. It was really cool to see Jakey back up there.
Yeah.
He moved to Vegas recently, and we see him around every so often. And my buddy George introduced me to him. And it's unfortunately I was on tour when he got shot, and it was like it scared the shit out of everybody. And thankfully he's okay. And just to see him in front of an audience like that doing his thing was just like, fuck yeah.
Dude, and also, awesome. I mean, I don't know the details behind this, but I heard that he kind of got like the shaft from Ozzy and Sharon. Like he kind of got like, he deserves some like songwriting credits on the records that he did with Ozzy. But also I feel like when you're in Ozzy's band, you might sign that away for the chance to be in Ozzy's band. Cause like Zakk Wylde wrote, I'm sure, most of No More Tears, but like he has his own career now because of Ozzy. So.
Right. Yeah. I don't know about that. I don't know.
to interesting. But whatever the case, obviously they smoothed it over because Jakey Lee was at the fucking show.
Yeah, with Lizzie Hale too. That was fucking awesome. That was incredible.
I've been listening to like Aussie cuts since then. Like "Shot in the Dark" is such a fucking great song. And what was the other one that was stuck in my head for so long? Not Mr. Crowley, but God, "Flying High Again."
Nice. Which Jack Black's rendition of Mr. Crowley was great.
Fucking amazing. And Tom Morello's kid fucking shreds on the guitar. I was totally impressed.
So that was Tom Morello's kid. Was there anybody else's kid, or was it kind of just
Scott Ian's son on the drums, I believe?
That's who's playing bass.
Oh, I'm not sure about that. I think it was someone else, but also Scott Ian. Crazy enough, his son, Scott Ian's. I don't know if you know, Scott Ian's wife is the daughter of Meatloaf, like the singer Meatloaf. I don't know if you know.
Really?
Yeah. Bad out of hell, Meatloaf. Like I would do anything for love, Meatloaf.
I would do anything,
yeah,
but I won't do that.
Such a great song. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I hated that song when I was a kid, but I have a shitload of respect for Meatloaf and his role in Fight Club.
His name was Robert Paulson.
Yeah, right.
My first introduction to Meatloaf was a Fight Club. And everyone was like, "That's a singer." I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." I was a kid. And then I got old enough to go to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And that's where I really saw Meatloaf for the first time.
There you go. There you go. Great. Fantastic fucking legendary movie too.
Yep.
Well, Brendan, man, I really enjoyed talking with you, man. I think the music is great too. The thing I love about this is every once in a while I happen across a band where I'm just like, wow, these guys are fucking solid and they got a lot of great stuff. So everyone should go and check out the Nocturnal Affair and Brendan's work. If they come to your town, fucking check out a live show. I'll hope to catch you guys live, and please come back and talk to me again, man. Next time you have an announcement to make or some shit.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, really appreciate it, man. Appreciate your time, and hope to see you out there in the concert world at some point.
Hell yeah.
All right, man. Thank you again for your time. And everybody, once again, Nocturnal Affair, Mr. Brendan Shane, pay your respects and keep it brutal. We'll see you next time. Peace, y'all.